Is this thing on? Hello, it's me, Aaron Bedard. It's Veteran Guerrilla Radio. Look at this view. It's a beautiful spot over here. I'm over Vancouver Island with a good friend I haven't seen in a couple years. It's Captain Trevor Greene and his good buddy Andrew Farrell. Last time I seen you guys on television, you were with Elizabeth May, right? Yeah. Is there anybody there? See, I wasn't able to give you guys a timing today because I wanted to, well, I got stuck in traffic too. There's no way I could have given a specific timing. Yeah, it looks like there's nobody out there. Holy cow, there's one person. That's the hard part of not having a specific timing arranged. People don't know when to tune in. Well, here we are exactly at 4 o'clock like the show usually is. And I'll adjust this over.
They can always watch it later in the archive, right?
Exactly. We're going to have it over on the, YouTube. So how are you doing today, Trevor?
Good.
Okay.
Got a beer and 2 buddies.
He's got, oh yeah, there's some people bugging me about beer the other day. Saying, you guys shouldn't drink beer on this show. Well, guess what? This is a hard job and I ain't getting paid to do it. I just had to pay $80 to get over here on the ferry. That's just the one way. And, you know, I'm not getting paid to do this. So if I want to have a beer with my friends here, I'm going to do that. So I've heard about a handful of people complaining about that. 90% of the time we don't, but when we can, we definitely do. And it's not like we're getting smashed or anything, right?
No.
There's the ferry coming in. Where is that? It's way over there. That's the ferry coming from Vancouver. It's a real nice spot. Okay. So, how can we sum it up? Who would like to tell the story of Trevor Greene? For those that don't know, there might be someone out there that might not know who you are. 2006, we were on the same tour.
Yeah.
106 in Kandahar. There was Roto Zero, and there was a PRT mission. Then right after that, we went over, and we were the first combat tour, active combat tour in Kandahar Province.
Yeah.
And you were a civilian military
cooperation officer.
We deployed y'all with Alpha Company up to the Gombad Valley,
Yeah.
a one road in and out area.
Ideally.
And you know, when there's only one road, it's like the enemy's like, gee, what road should we set up to get blown up? It's a scary place, and we lost quite a few people up there. I had my fellow engineers there, EOD guys, have to go and pick through some people and go through some bad experiences because of that tight little road, and we didn't have helicopters to get you guys in and out of there at the time, and we needed them. They desperately needed them, and that was partly what contributed to us getting our Chinooks back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got blown up by ideally.
Did you get blown up
Yeah.
before?
Yeah.
Obviously before, sorry.
3 weeks before.
Just like a vehicle behind you or in front of you, or your vehicle?
My vehicle.
That's right, it's in the book. I read your book 2013. Yeah. What's it called again?
March 4th.
March 4th. And you and your wife wrote that together?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful book. I got, first time I seen him since 2006 was at the book signing at Chapters there in Vancouver. And I was emotional because, you know, this is the guy that, it came all over the radio. One of our guys just got hit in the head with an axe. And it's like, is this a joke? Couldn't believe it. We were stunned. And it's awesome that you're here today. Mm-hmm. Does anyone have a question out there for him? Driving from YHC Airport. Brian McKenna, he's not with me. He's on vacation. My wife wanted to go up visit family for a few days, so I decided I might as well try and get a quick trip over to the island and maybe interview a person or two. So that's why we're here.
I was at a shura, which is a meeting with elders, and they're usually fairly peaceful because there's a tradition, a rock salt tradition, centuries old,
Mm-hmm.
that guests at the shura are given food and water,
Yeah.
and protected. Yeah. So when I got blown up, I figured that was my silver bullet. Yeah. Surviving the IED.
And you thought that was it. It's my bad experience was out of the way. My odds are now better that I'm not going to get hit again.
Yeah.
I thought that too. It didn't quite work out that way.
Yeah.
So in your book, I remember reading that initially they weren't sure they were going to make an effort to keep you sustained, and some medics at Roll 3, the hospital in Kandahar Air Field, pushed
A nurse.
a nurse,
Maria Strepa.
Maria Strepa, pushed to make sure that you got stabilized enough to travel to Langstuhl. And then, and it was kind of by chance that there are two neurosurgeons, top neurosurgeons there at the time, and they were willing to put in the time. They had a spot in their schedule, so to speak, and they worked on you for quite a few hours.
Yeah. Well, Pete Serini, the main surgeon, wasn't going to operate because I was too far gone.
Right.
But he figured since I survived the flight, he would take a go.
Oh yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
so you stayed in Langstuhl for a few weeks,
Yeah.
and then you got pushed over to VGH, Vancouver
Yeah.
General Hospital.
Yeah.
I remember reading that they had inflated socks on your feet,
Yeah.
and VGH. Did they not get your file and the details of how you needed to be cared for based off of what the initial doctors had done to you? Because they took those air socks off of you, didn't they?
They lost them.
They lost them.
And my feet bent down
Yeah,
like a ballerina.
yeah. And you got your feet operated on to get them sort of straightened out?
Yeah.
So there was not good transition out of the theater for you
No.
as far as paperwork, and that's an ongoing, reoccurring theme, is paperwork gets lost. I'm wishing people on operations nowadays, I'd love to see them make sure that they have a memory stick with them at all times, and every time they have to go in for anything, maybe even the warrant overseas to ensure it happens, you have to have your files in hand wherever you go. I'd love to see that carved in stone. I'd love to actually see someone's dog tags be a memory stick.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
And then, you know what? Boom, wherever you're going, boom, that memory stick's going in. Your chart could be an iPad type thing, and you just stick the frickin' chip in there, and while they're doing your workup or whatever and taking pictures of stuff, kaboom, it's all going in the stick. I recommended that a year ago to the committees I'm a part of, right to the Deputy Minister of Veteran Affairs, Walt Latinchik. Haven't heard a word back.
I mean, you could encrypt that easily, no problem. So I mean,
Absolutely.
There's no security issues with that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, they make like a steel one, like a real sturdy one for a dog tag that is also a memory stick. And you just keep backing it up at your home file, or you have a Dropbox that if you got it wirelessly near your phone, it goes right into Dropbox.
Yeah. Like update your lap.
And you can have one of these type things like a Fitbit, and then you're able to monitor the person too. And monitor them when they come back from tour to see if they got stress issues and if they need to get some
We got
treatment.
a question for Brian McKenna.
Hey Brian.
How are your energy levels during the day? Well, I do 2 workouts every day.
Uh-huh.
And usually I need to nap after the first one. And then I start the second one. And I'm working on endurance,
Yeah.
but it's hard to do. I find my focus is kind of shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I try to go to yoga.
Yeah.
I've kind of dropped out of that for a bit because I threw my back out at yoga.
Yeah.
But I
You're the
find
only
that
one.
after I do a round of yoga, I'm tired. I need to get my cardio up. That's the hard thing. I get dizzy spells from the headache.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of questions. I did a questionnaire.
Yep.
Can you dig that up, bro?
Yep.
Let's ask some of those questions, because in the past there we get caught up where we have a zillion questions and we get caught up on our own things we want to know from the person we're interviewing. And sometimes we forget to check in with the people that like watching our show. So we got a list of questions, and using the poll generator, people were able to rank the questions, and there's about 7, 8, 9, 10 questions.
One sec here.
So you use your robotic legs once a week?
Mm-hmm.
And how's that going? You explained it as being
Humped by a robot.
Yeah,
humped by a
his
robot
words, not mine.
because it's pushing you around,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Violently.
Violently.
Yeah.
What day of the week do you do that?
Friday.
On Fridays?
Friday at 1. At the shopping mall.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Tromp up and down. Yeah. And the surprising thing is, people kind of take it in stride.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's cool. They know who you are?
Some of them.
You're fairly well known probably in Nanaimo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have those questions?
I would say yes to that. I do. So I guess what I'll just go
Volume.
from. I'll go from the most the one that got the most responses.
Yeah, going off the top.
Which is the first one. What was the most important factor contributing to your remarkable recovery?
Dun, 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 dun.
My wife.
Yes. Is she here?
She was a trooper. No, she's coming back. Debbie.
Every step of the way.
In the book, I say it's as if Debbie read the book about what to do when your fiance comes back from Afghanistan with a brain injury. She was that intuitive, and she thought away. She read everything under the sun on brain injury, and she
knew her stuff.
yeah,
And so she had the questions ready for when you went in front of specialists and doctors and
yeah.
went to Ponoka for recovery there, the Traumatic Brain Injury Recovery Clinic there in Ponoka. I tried going there just to get some advice for my headaches, and they're like, you don't have brain injury enough. You got to be like, your head has to have been split open type of injury. And that was unfortunate because the mild TBI, the hidden injury guys, we don't get anything. You're just like, I don't know.
Veterans Affairs just it's all lumped into one thing or whatever, and they do that with
Well,
mental health stuff, right? They say, oh, we can't separate stuff or whatever, so they just
I got paid out for a headache. It's actually called a cervicogenic muscular strain headache, and they paid me out 15% for it because an MRI can't see a TBI.
Okay, next question. Which was harder, the physical injury or the mental one?
Mental, definitely.
It was.
Yeah, because we trained hard and we heard from that, and I was used to that, and I was an athlete back in the day, so I'm used to physical pain, and I can adapt to it. But as you guys can attest, PTSD is in another league.
It can derail you, throw you off,
uh,
and you don't know it until you're doing it,
no.
getting angry or
I
something.
used to howl at Debbie,
Uh-huh.
howl foul things at Debbie, and I begged her to leave me. I attempted suicide. It's a shitstorm. Nothing can prepare you for it.
No.
Nothing.
But with time, with a good network, a good support mechanism, you're having a brotherhood, sisterhood,
Yeah,
people have been through similar things there, then
yeah,
there's healing, right?
yeah,
But it takes time,
yeah. There's good days and bad days.
and there's good days, bad days. I had a bad day a few days ago.
Yeah.
I haven't been getting good sleep. I got an apnea issue now, and so I don't get good sleep.
I do too, actually.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Do you get the grinding?
No,
No grinding as far as you know?
no, as far as I know.
Yeah. Just
But
have that checked out because 90% of us are damaging all of our molars and they're not
Yeah,
covering it. So
yeah,
if you can get a night guard, I know you already have a bloody probably apnea machine on top of it all. Oh, great! And now I got another thing in my mouth. But yeah, the dental work, getting damaged molars is not good. You're aware that the VIP program there's actually $1,500 a month towards dental within that. I bet you didn't know that.
no.
Yeah, you're covered $1,500 a year. They don't tell anybody that. I actually went to a committee last year with a fellow by the name of Bruce Henwood, and he's been an advocate since Bosnia. He got his legs blown off back then. He was a major,
Yeah.
and I told him at a committee last summer, and he lost it. The next morning at committee there, he goes up to Walton Chinchik, who's the Deputy Minister of Veteran Affairs, and he just tore a strip out of him. You're kidding me. This has been going on for all this time, and I've been eligible all this time, and you never told, nobody told me. And he flipped right out on him. But anyway, yeah, go look into that next time you have a checkup to do.
Will do.
Because
Yeah.
it's $1,500 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
VIP?
It's hidden in the VIP program.
Oh,
Got a question?
crazy.
Is there a gap between what you believe was promised to you on joining the Canadian Forces and what the actual reality of what was provided after you were hurt?
I don't remember what I was promised when I joined.
You don't plan to get hurt.
No.
That's why 90% of guys to this day still don't even realize that you don't get a pension anymore. They don't find out. You don't find out till you get hurt. You get ushered into a special room, the broken tools room.
What is your expectation of support from the government, medical, psychological, and financial? And a follow-up to that is, should there be any difference from members hurt at home? So should it be, I guess, what are we calling that? One veteran, one standard?
Yeah.
I think is the term for that.
Well, as you know, the training is so tough. And of course, I think that injuries at home should be treated the same. What was the first part?
The first part was, what is your expectation of support from the government from medical, psychological, and financial perspectives?
I'm getting good support under all those routes.
So your expectations are being met?
Met.
Can you hear me okay?
You can talk a little louder.
Okay. Okay, we've covered that one already. Is it true that you believed you could walk right after your injury, and did your doctors explain why?
Well, that was crazy.
That was my question, actually. I wanted to ask you that question.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
interesting. Your brain will protect you.
Yeah, in Alberta, my brain didn't let me know how badly I was wounded. So when they would come in, I would tell I went down to the store a lot. And she would say, did anybody see you? I'd say I could walk. And she would ask why the nurses helped me out. I said it was their job. Yeah, with brain injury, you can have, if you have no awareness, you have no recovery. So my brain wouldn't let me know how badly I was wounded. So I was convinced I was okay. But one day, I remember it vividly. Debbie came in one night, and I told her, I can't believe I told you I could walk this morning. And she begged me to remember it, because I got my awareness back. Yeah. And that's when I started recovering.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was a big turning point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the turning point.
the turning point. And so with awareness that coming back at the same time you were having PTSD, how were you able to differentiate what you're thinking that's not healthy, like the stinking thinking from the healthy thinking? Was there a real challenge to get grounded through that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the PTSD just threw me off for many days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just sapped my energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because my feet were pointed down, I couldn't but wait on them.
Right.
Yeah. So it was all seated, that stuff, the therapy.
Do you do any sort of, I'm taking a program right now because I just had a neuropsych evaluation done a few months ago.
Yeah.
And they're able to fine tune where my biggest deficit is, which is my audible memory. My problem solving, my engineer skills are still great. I'm like 99th percentile, but then my audible memory is like 14th percentile, which is like super bad. So they have me in a program called CogMed using a computer, and it's kind of like luminosity, retrain the brain, but it's far more specialized. It's federally recognized. It's covered by VAC.
Cognet?
CogMed.
Cogmet. I'll have to try that.
It's a retrain the brain thing. So I'm going to an intuitive, what's it called? Intuitive rehab, an occupational therapist, and she lined me up with that. If you have a good occupational therapist working with you and who understands the system, VAC system, that is really key for recovery.
Yeah. I have a great OT.
You do?
Yeah.
Here in Nanaimo?
Yeah.
What's the business name?
Her name is Brenda McAlpine.
Uh-huh.
She's fabulous.
Awesome.
Well, she asked me to be tested for sleep apnea.
Uh-huh.
Because she knew that brain injuries sufferers were prone to sleep apnea.
Absolutely.
And she got me in.
I thought my brain was rotten for a few years there until I got that sleep study done. And it was apnea all that time. I thought I was losing. I thought my brain was slowly going. Like I was going to end up with Alzheimer's or Parkinson or something. I thought I was going down that road. It was apnea. And then so I went to get a sleep study done, and then I turned to VAC. I call them up, the case manager, and say, yeah, I need to try and get something covered for apnea. She's like, oh, no problem. We'll cover that immediately because of the PTSD. I'm like, what? This is like the first time ever you're saying I get something immediately. It's like, oh, yeah, well, PTSD and apnea are like hand in hand. It's like, thanks for telling me like 3 years ago. I've been like, I have like complete memory gaps where I don't remember meeting people and stuff. Thanks a lot, you know. And not getting any proper REM sleep, you start getting angry. I didn't get any good sleep the last few nights. I'm having a challenge. I've had moments of incoherence this past week a few times. It's tough.
So that's why my back all of a sudden showed up on my card saying I've got oxygen now because of that link. Interesting.
Yeah.
Nobody at Veterans Affairs can tell me why.
Yeah, it's hard. They are having a real hard time maintaining their standards.
Yeah.
And to each his own, how much that particular case manager is willing to know their file.
So next question, do you believe that a disabled veteran's financial needs will increase, decrease, or remain the same upon reaching age 65?
I think they'll increase as they get older, just as anybody's health declines and they need extra care. And I think a wounded veteran would be more so as they age.
Okay, do you feel that your care may have been influenced by either your rank or by the media spotlight received by your incident?
Well, the media attention didn't hurt. And sometimes I feel bad about it because there's so much wrong with the other brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
But I have a great case manager, Judy Martin.
Yeah.
And that makes all the difference in the world, as you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you had the same one all along?
Yeah.
How many years? So going all the way back to 2006-7, I guess then.
Yeah.
Yeah? They've been, that's very important to have continuity of care. I've been through 5 or 6 myself. Yeah. And you'd think they'd try and take good care of me seeing as I am suing them, but no.
Maybe that's part of the strategy.
Brian McKenna's even having a tough time with his file, and last year we had guys on our court case also having a hard time. We had a guy there, he's got no liver because he got shot by a claymore, who's part of our court case, Dan Scott, and they sent him a reiterating letter last year right in the middle of us in negotiations with Sarah O'Toole's advisor, representative, stating that you can't prove that you ever had a liver.
Yeah, I've got one
And that was
word
in
for
the
that, but I won't say it in
right in the
public
middle of
domain.
negotiation with the government. You get something like that, and so that goes on the table, and Aaron's guy is just like, "Oh my God, how can I control this?" Like,
Well, that's like
it's a ministry, right? It's a bureaucracy. You can't control all the moving parts. It's almost impossible.
that's no different than who was it that made the news with their legs and having to recertify every year that yeah, my legs still haven't grown back.
Yeah.
Paul
I'm not laughing at that, but
Paul Franklin.
yeah.
That was crazy.
Well, I have a friend there who actually, Brian McKenna's wife there, she does work with the blind, and people who are blind still have to fill out a form every couple of years to say that they're still blind, and it's just part of the world we live in, I guess. I mean, we would love to have things as streamlined as possible in our world dealing with veteran affairs, but they seem to have an attitude that you know, there are people playing the system,
Yeah.
and so they have to make it hard for everybody.
Yeah.
And it has to be in the spirit of fairness. They have to give us all a hard time.
I guess so.
Well, it must
Huh?
have been hard on Paul Franklin, because
Yes.
just as he reconciles himself to not having legs, it messes him up.
Oh, there's a kid.
Oh. Grandma's here visiting. Grandma and Grandpa are here visiting young Noah and Grace. So. We'll let your mom know she's on a national national show soon. Her first performance.
You got another question?
Next question. Do you feel that the needs of your young family will be adequately met, including education, housing, and quality of life? You want to shut the other screen door?
Yeah, please.
I'll go get it. No worries.
Close these. Just go grab yourself a beverage for a minute. We're actually visiting during family time. He's got family that came all the way from Halifax, so we're just sorting things out. Our producer's in the background trying to keep everything organized here. Our whole studio team. You don't see it, but on the other side of the camera right now, I got a team of like 15 people, a boom mic guy, and all these people, craft services. Hey, I don't need anything right now. I'm okay.
I'll have a
And they're all union, so they're really hard to deal with and expensive, I might add. I'm just kidding.
Of course you are.
Sean. Hi, CJ. Hi, John Collins.
Ready for the next question?
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you believe the responsibility lies with the Canadian Armed Forces or Veterans Affairs, for our veterans in the future, or is it with Veterans Affairs?
Hi, Deb.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Remove that and then I can close the window for you.
Do you want to come sit with us for a minute?
No, I've got
No?
to unload and
You got kids and stuff to deal
yeah, yeah.
with. Okay, great to
Thank
see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me in your house.
Yeah, no problem. Can I get you anything?
I'm good. I'm good.
You want another beer?
No, I'm all right. I had a few beverages with a few buddies up in Comox last night, and we had some barbecue, and I'm good for about a week for beverages, and gotta do that once in a while. You gotta get reconnected with the gang, and then also we have a guy that's just releasing up there, just got posted, or his last postings there, and he's about to get released. So I wanted him to get connected. Network's everything.
Yeah. What was the question?
Yeah.
In your opinion, do you believe the responsibility lies with the Canadian Armed Forces for our veterans in the future, or is it with Veterans Affairs?
I think the CF should be open and honest about the risks. 'Cause, obviously we know the risk of being wounded or killed. But
There's a lot more complexity,
yeah,
especially with transition.
yeah.
I would personally like to see more transparency from our leadership you know, about not just risks, but what happens after, instead of trying to mask the PTSD problem or injuries or what have you, and denying liability. I think that the leadership, as you know, this is what we're all taught as leaders, so they should step up and do that instead of trying to protect their careers and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Actually, it was last year, you guys actually met up with Elizabeth May. How did that happen? You ended up at her veteran platform announcement for the election. How did that start?
Well, we worked on local Green Party candidates campaign.
Okay.
And through that we met her.
Uh-huh.
And she asked us to address the veterans issue. Yeah.
Well, she had a great platform. Did she thank you guys for input on that?
Oh yeah.
Because I got that video posted on the BGR page there, and that's a great veteran platform for support. I don't see her getting into the PM's office soon, but it is important to have a leader, a party leader, no matter how big it is, showing that kind of leadership in a nonpartisan sort of approach and attitude.
Yeah.
She's a very professional woman.
I think she's the best MP in the House of Commons.
She knows every file, and
top-notch.
seems like she's got a photographic memory for the information. She can
does.
speak to any subject. She's world class.
Yeah, she is. She's top notch. We're very lucky to have her. I think you know, again, like you said, size of the party doesn't matter. She's amazing.
Absolutely. I'm hoping, actually, just by the way, to be meeting up with her in the first 3 weeks of September, hopefully. Yeah. Toby, transition is poorly handled, in my honest opinion. Yes, it is. Yeah. Anyone else have a question out there for us?
That was the end of the questions that were in the poll. But if I can pose one to Trevor, just on behalf of everyone, I think people would like to know what you're doing now, and you know what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, I founded an environmental foundation called the Planet A Foundation. We fund environmental initiatives and encourage the development of programs.
Environmental programs and training and whatnot. So it's soon to be a registered charity.
Yeah. Like one of our projects is bat houses that you started.
That's all you're doing. This is all you're doing, man.
So you had an idea, and you've been helping make it
Help
happen?
them make it happen. So we're just
Outstanding.
registered as a not-for-profit now, and as the Planet A Foundation, and we're in the process of getting charitable status. And Trevor's the president of the foundation, and we've got a key group of people that are directors and some good connections and positive responses from the community. We're already bridging some things between the university here and making that happen. But it's a good initiative that Trevor wanted to do, yeah, so we put it together, and now that's going to be, once we're up and running full time, that'll be your gig, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys making sauce?
Sauce?
Yeah.
That's a company I invested in. I invested some of my
Okay.
veterans' money into the Gunpowder Sauce Company.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing. So I'm an investor in a company that makes hot sauce,
Perfect.
and it's actually top notch. I've got a bottle for you.
Okay. Outstanding.
Yeah. The what else are you up to, Trev? What else you got going? You been going to OSIS?
Yeah.
That's been good for you.
Yeah. The OSIS group is I look forward to it every week, every 2 weeks, because the other guys in there have walked the walk. And I can't talk to civilians about it,
No.
because they don't understand, or they just want war stories.
Is it with Phil or Zach?
It's Rob.
Oh, Rob.
Rob's a volunteer,
Oh, okay.
pure volunteer, under
so-
Zach's
Yeah.
supervision.
So here in Nanaimo, you have a group that meets every couple weeks?
Yep. Up at the university here, we've got a spot.
Yeah. We started a group a few years ago called the Veterans Assistance Group in North America. the vagina. Because, you know, men talking about their feelings, right? It's like, this is ridiculous. Like, what am I going to cry in front of these guys, you know? And so the guys put a name on it. I didn't put a name on it. The guys came up with that. It was Brian. And then and this Royal Marine finished it. It was the VAG, the Veterans Assistance Group, the VAG. And then it became, what about in North America? Perfect! They're all like toasting to that. Like, cheers, it's the name of our group. Look for that on a T-shirt with it's coming out in a while. Just wait for it. We're going to be having a few T-shirts actually coming up in the next month. We got a few shirts that I've been kind of holding in my back pocket for a couple of years now, and that's one of them, the vagina. You know, the vagina was started for when Brian McKenna. He was in Kabul as a civilian, not a civilian, but he got a contract job for working with NATO up there. And 1 month away from his tour, he told me, "Hey, I'm not doing good, man. I think I might need some help." And so he got back December. In January, I stood up that group. And that group was full of guys that had been peer support counselors with the Veterans Transition Program. Okay. And so everybody knew about how to help each other and how to work within a group and how to, you know, not hog the mic type of stuff and how not to trigger each other or to dump, you know what I mean? And so he got a great network. The moment he got boots on the ground back home, said, "I need help," boom, he got a resource group that helped have a check-in every month and then give him an idea of all the programming out there. Got him into Service Dog, got him into the Veterans Transition Program. He ended up being a peer supporter at it. He had a good quick transition, whereas me, I didn't have any of that reg force. I ended up with just trying to figure it out on my own. 10 years later, I'm like Humpty Dumpty with masking tape, just trying to piece my life together, not having a clue how to. It's tough.
It is.
What's your favorite thing that grounds you?
My kids.
Yeah? They can get a smile out of you?
Yeah.
Even if you're not in the mood to smile, you pretty much have to with the kids.
No.
They keep you real, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I got a 3.5-year-old, and we got to try and get our kids together next time we come through here.
Yeah.
We're trying to get to Tofino, hopefully, this in the next month.
Oh.
And I'll give you a call, see if we can stop by real quick.
Awesome.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions? T-shirt, there you go. Well, any last words? What would you like everyone out there to know about? Actually, you know, hold on now. We haven't really talked a lot about traumatic brain injury. Through this, your wife might be a bit of a shmee, but you as well. She doesn't want to. It's okay. But there's SPECT analysis, a new type of MIR, the scope for checking out the brain.
Oh.
There's one in Langley or Aldergrove. Have you been to that?
No.
No? You were saying that there was one that he would be going to over on the mainland.
Yeah, you were telling me about something you were going to this a little while ago, but you were saying that there was some sort of new thing you were doing.
Oh, the ponds.
Maybe that was it.
The ponds.
What's the ponds?
The ponds is you have two cranial nerves going from your tongue to your brain.
Uh-huh.
So the ponds is a device
Uh-huh.
that you put in your mouth, and you do an activity for 20 minutes,
Yes?
and it rearranges your brain.
No kidding.
Yeah. And it's coming in October.
Like you'll have one in-house or a place you have to go to?
In-house.
In-house. What other treatments have they got you on other than aside from the robotic legs? Do you do a lot of aqua in the water?
No.
No?
Because I can hold my weight
Okay.
on land. I do stuff at home,
Yeah.
and twice a day, 2 workouts a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of balance stuff, a lot of core development.
Is there any other technological things that you've been using in the last 7 years? Bits of technology? Is there something coming down the pipe, down the road that's a tech that, a new gen of legs?
I think the
robotics?
as I understand it from talking to Trev and Debbie, the exoskeleton is still kind of new ground.
Yeah.
Like there's sometimes there's problems with it and it doesn't work, and so, and I think it goes back to parts are coming out of Israel or something.
Yeah.
It's still not quite fully developed, so Trevor's kind of
See,
a
he's
trial
the
candidate.
R&D kid.
Yeah, the guinea pig.
Yeah, well, I'm the first brain injury
Yeah?
victim to test the exoskeleton.
Outstanding. Where do you have it at home or?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh wow.
Yeah, in the garage.
Far out. All right.
Just one last point. For PTSD, family sport is everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So is there anything, if you wanted to say something out to anywhere? I know the Minister of Veteran Affairs staff and office are watching this, and now I've received word that the Veteran Affairs headquarters, Charlottetown, that are a lot of people watching this now. Is there anything you'd like to say out as far as the political parties, current party in power, or VAC, the bureaucracy? Is there anything you'd like to say?
Keep opening those offices. Keep reopening them. Because most vets are older and they don't know how to use a computer effectively. And they need those offices and the personal contact.
Yeah, there has to be a low-tech option. Not everybody can make it to the city too, though.
Yeah.
So they need to do more.
Yeah.
My thing is I'd love to see people in remote locations get tablets that just are a
Yeah.
one-button push thing, and boom, they're on a video conference link to
Yeah.
whoever, wherever in Charlottetown, don't matter. You got someone, a face on a screen.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that in a program. They're slow to react. It's hard to change
Yeah.
bureaucracy
Yeah.
and government. Do you have anything else, Andrew?
No, I'm good. Just other than thanks for doing the show and everything you guys are doing, like with Equitas and you and Brian and everything. It's keep up the good work. You guys are fabulous.
We're trying to retire. This is
What are you gonna say?
this is a slow handover process because I cannot keep doing this. I'm losing it slowly. I'm burning out.
Anybody out there want to take it over?
Yeah. I need a whole team. I need a person, at least like a 3 to 5 man, a woman group in every single province. So that's 12 by 5. I need at least a handful of people in every single province working with us. I'm going to be setting up a website with a specific department for each province, and we're going to be doing a very extensive census that hopefully will get built enough, and enough people do that I'll then turn the data right over to Census Canada and say, please put this together, finish what we've started. And doing the show, I want to try and get all these interviews, all these people that are the people that are willing to speak up. You're writing, you've written in the media a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to make sure that if there are things that are not working for the veteran of the future, that we need to do something today. And it's going to take a team effort. A lot of people believe that the current big organizations in Canada, veteran organizations, are taking care of those needs. And I'm here to tell you there's a lot more to be done. They're not getting with the technology. They're not getting with the ability, the freedom of movement that these phones offer. I mean, I've done this whole show with just this phone. The intro, the music, that garage band music at the beginning of the show, is always my phone, man. I've offered the Legion to go into any Legion at any given time, and I'll teach people how to use social media so that they can get engaged with their families on quality of life. That's a good thing. On dealing with VAC, connecting with VAC, and with how to learn about what's really going on in the veteran community. But to no avail. They don't want to, they're not interested. But, okay.
Oh, you got another question?
What's that?
Or? Oh, I was just going to say, maybe you should tell everybody on a final note here, or are we closing down? The story about, was it Greg that came out to see you in Alberta? And about, remember the page? When you flipped the page, you had to tell him to turn the page over and have a look. Do you remember that?
No.
No? Okay, maybe another. We'll save that one for.
Great
another time.
setup of that story, buddy.
I thought it's a funny story. It's quite funny. So,
Okay.
Yeah, but Trevor has to tell it. So.
Okay. All right, folks. Look, I have to go. We're gonna actually go have some beverages maybe and sit and chat and do what soldiers do. Reminisce, tell war stories, have a little bit of fun.
We're going to our local mess here, which otherwise.
Are we going to the mess?
Well, we're going to the Oxy Pub and Grill. We don't have a mess here, but
Oh,
we're going
perfect.
to the Oxy Pub and Grill, known as our mess.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's,
Okay, if you guys want to have a bevy, we're going to be over there, okay? I know it's a long walk from Halifax, and you probably won't make it. But, hey, folks, I love y'all, and VJR might have a surprise episode tomorrow. Who knows? There might be a couple shows. And then hopefully I get a nice little break window again. And just keep doing what you're doing. Please continue to help me by sharing our show. Brian McKenna, he's still on vacation, but we'll be back at this full bore in mid-September. We do need a window of break because we are getting pretty mangled by all this. It wears us out. Okay, so I keep rambling here. I'm going to shut this down right now. Love you all. Talk to you soon.